You've arrived at Unlearn with Louisa, the self-development podcast where we explore the beliefs, patterns, and behaviours we've all unconsciously picked up along the way. Whether it's in relationships or how we treat ourselves, here we focus on unlearning our past to create the future that we actually want. Let's get into it. Welcome to your first week of 2026. Time is going fast, guys. Now, I'm actually recording this. It's still 2025, so I hope nothing huge has happened in the week or so between this recording and it being out. So this episode will come out on the very first week of the new year. If you've clicked on the title of this episode, you are motivated to make 2026 your best year. If you're watching on the camera, I'm going to read a little bit and reference some of my notes. I have a podcast journal that I write in before every episode, and sometimes I take a photo of it and have it on my phone and read the notes off my phone. But I get really distracted by having my phone on me when I'm recording, and then because I have ADHD, I see a notification or I just see a symbol or a color and I just go off on a tangent in my brain. So we're trying something new. I've got my notebook here, so if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're watching this on Spotify, that's what that is. It looks very serious. It looks like a very serious black book, but all it is the journal prompts and my episode plans. And it's very cute. This notebook is quite special to me because at the beginning of the book, it has, when Tara and I first started the Unfiltered Experience, it has our vision and our values and our commitment to each other in it. And it has how we came up with the name, the Unfiltered Experience. It's a cute little artifact for me. But yeah, welcome to 2026. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful New Year's, and you survived your family dynamics and you survived your partner's family and your friends' families. If you didn't have family around you, maybe you worked, whatever you did, I hope you felt loved and connected and you're ready to start this year and make this year your own. The best thing about the new year is it's like that saying, I'll start on Monday, to a whole nother level. Starting the year fresh, it gives us this whole burst of motivation to make change and to make new goals for ourselves and just become a new version. But often what happens is we set up these goals, we get obliterated on New Year's Eve, or maybe we do have a good start to the year and then by the middle of January or February, or if you're as lucky enough to get to March from willpower, the willpower to reach your goals, if they're not integrated properly, if your goals aren't integrated into your identity properly, we go back to our old ways. And that is a story I hear all the time, is that, I had my New Year's resolution. I did really well for January. I might have done every day. Maybe it's to exercise more or to drink more water or, to post every day if you're growing your business, whatever your goal is. That halfway through the first quarter of the year, it's already gone to shit. This is because we have this perfectionist mindset. So we might have a mindset where we give it 100% for those first few weeks and we're going off the willpower from our motivation. And then what happens is we burn out because the goal is not integrated into who we are. It's not integrated into our identity. It's not congruent with other areas of our lives. And what I mean by that is that congruency means that, let's say you have a goal. You want to be more connected spiritually. Let's say that's your goal, or that you want to have a morning routine and you want to start filling up your cup before you give to others. This is a theme that often comes out in a coaching session. But basically, let's say that's your goal. And so you go, okay, I'm going to start doing a morning routine. But then we start unpacking the rest of your life. And we look at the fact that having a morning routine means you have to get up earlier, right? You have to get up before your kids get up, or you have to get up X amount of time before work, and you're super, super tired all the time. And so eventually the morning routine falls off the wagon. And if we look at your life, the reason that is because to have a better morning routine, you need to go to bed earlier. And the reason you're staying up late is because that is the time you get to spend with your partner. That is the quality time you both have aside for each other is at night. And so cutting off your bedtime and cutting down your bedtime means cutting down time with your partner, right? And so choosing your morning routine and doing your morning routine is not congruent with your life because you have to decide between your partner and yourself. And so sometimes your partner wins and sometimes you win. And so it's not congruent. Your goals that you set need to be congruent with all areas of your life. Whatever your goal may be, how it is actioned and how it is played out into your life, we need to look at all areas of your life and make it fit in. It must be able to be done in a way that it matches your identity and the person that you are as a whole. I just kissed the microphone as I said that, so I don't know what that sounds like on your end, but we want it to be congruent with us as a whole. Okay? So as a whole person, as a whole unit, as somebody who's in a relationship or not in a relationship, or somebody who has children and somebody who works 9 to 5, what we need to look at is when we try to make this year our best year yet, we need to start by being realistic about what we need, want, and desire, and how that actually fits into our life in practice, rather than just coming up with this, oh, I want to get fit or I want to lose weight, right? If you want to do those things, you want to put them into practice in a way that's going to serve you and help you feel like you're moving towards your goal and moving towards things that are adding to your self-confidence of doing the things that you want to do, rather than setting these umbrella goals of doing those things and then not having a plan or it not fitting into your life properly. Today's episode is about really unpacking what it means for you to create your best year. So let's think about your last X amount of years you've been alive as an adult. What makes your best year? I want you to think about that question. What makes your best year? If I ask you an opposing question, you'll probably know pretty quickly when I ask you, what was a bad year for you? Like, what was a year that you thought, fuck, that really hit me for 6. That was a year where things were really tough for me. Some people, it might be 2020. That was a really tough year, especially if you're in Melbourne, where we had lockdown after lockdown. For some people, lockdown was great. It depends. This question is completely unique to you. So you want to think about what makes a bad year for me? What would make 2026 a year that is bad? I'm saying that in quotation, or a year that I'm not happy with, right? So for me, 2026, if I was to think about that question, it would be that I wouldn't move forward on the things in my career and my finances. So the last few years have been massively about relationships for me, and I want 2026, my intention for the year, to be about my career and, coaching, podcasting, what I do currently, because I took a massive break from that last year. So a bad year for me would be if I didn't move forward in those goals, if I didn't meet my needs in those areas. I'm not talking about outcome. If we set a goal, I know it's very important in business to set goals around outcomes in corporate environments and whatnot, but personally, to set result-driven goals. So if your goal is let's say grow 10,000 followers this year. If your goal is in the hands of other people, one, it can create a paralysis of taking action because there's fear, and it can bring up belief systems and this sort of failure and success. And it is really important to have goals that you can measure. However, I really strictly believe that when it comes to goal setting, it needs to be personal. You need to be able to complete that yourself, and that is seen as a success. The goal should never be results driven. That is my biggest tip. The success of that goal should not be in the hands of other people. So instead, if you want to, let's say you want to grow your following, your goal could be to post 5 times a week. Or for me, my goal might be to do an episode every week for a year. And then I can measure that 100%. What happens as a result of that is, up to the universe, it's up to whatever. But I can measure whether I've achieved that goal or not. So I want you to think about that question. What would a bad year be for me? And then I want you to think about opposing that. What's opposing? What would a good year mean for me? And then I want you to choose your overarching theme for the year. So the best thing to do, because obviously we're humans, I believe you can have it all, but sometimes you can't have it all at the same time. And that means when you think about what a good year would be for you this year, I want you to think about what areas of your life are your top 3 priorities. Okay, so maybe your overarching theme for the year, you want to focus on relationships. Maybe you've had a few good years where you focused on your business, you focused on your career, you focused on your fitness, and then you want this year to be really intentional about your relationships, let's say. You're going to create your overarching theme for the year will be relationships, and then you're going to build down and think about what specifically do I want to improve about my relationship. So maybe your number 1 priority is going to be your relationship with your kids. Number 2 might be your relationship with your partner, or maybe it's the other way around. And then maybe your relationship with yourself. So I want you to see these top 3 priorities as your filter to the rest of the year, right? So your goal is to improve your relationships, or to have more time for your kids, or to have more time with your partner. I think they're pretty common goals that I hear a lot. And then you're going to write your top 3 priorities. You want them to be in order so that these 3 things are going to be your filter and your decision-making filter for the rest of the year. So when you come up against, do you want to come to a gala, or do you want to come to a business meeting, or do you want to come and do something, like a fitness thing or whatever, and you go, hang on, is this going to take me away from my top 3 filters that help me make decisions? Those top 3 filters will help you make a decision. Will this take me away from time with my kids? Will this take me away from my relationship with my partner? If the answer is yes, then you've got your answer, right? Because often what happens when we're trying to make change, we fall back on our default. We fall back on our default decision making. So if you've always been career focused and you're trying to make change to improve your relationships, it's going to feel quite unnatural. Like your automated response is going to be, yep, I'll go to that gala. Yep, I'll go to that business meeting. Yep, I'll go on that work trip. It's going to take conscious effort to remind you that this is no longer your system anymore. This is no longer your filter. And the thing is, what happens is we act from these default settings. Oh, I really need to do that because that person will be there and that contact and da-da-da-da-da. We act from that setting, and then months down the track, nothing's changed. And you're like, hang on, my relationship with my kids is not improved. My relationship with my partner is on the rocks. It's because I haven't fucking done anything differently that I said I would, right? So this is the moment. This podcast is your opportunity to get super, super clear, and I want you to pop it down. So put it in your notes app. I know journaling is awesome. Journal away if you'd like to from this episode, but I would also like you to pop it in your notes or your reminders or somewhere that you look at regularly. Maybe you look at a diary. Put your top 3 priorities down and start making conscious effort to make decisions through those filters. Just wanted to let you guys know about my new Year's resolution coaching program. As 2025 comes to a close, I know you may be feeling, where on earth has this year gone, and why have I not achieved yet again my New Year's resolution or my goals? Let me tell you, many of my clients have felt the exact same way, and that is why it is so integral for you to engage a coach in the start of the new year. Whether it's breaking patterns in relationships, whether it's changing your belief systems about yourself, reaching your goals in your career, your financial goals, or manifesting that new relationship, make 2026 your year. The highest peak of our motivation in achieving our goals is always at the beginning of the new year. But if you want an actual plan to take you beyond that, we can maximize your growth and maximize that motivation together in a 30-day container. You will have 4 coaching sessions with me, unlimited messaging and voice noting throughout that month. This offer is available now through December and will only run through January and February of 2026. Research shows that you are 80% more likely to achieve your goals when you engage a coach alongside your journey. So let's do it. Let's work together. Reach out to me on Instagram or email me at coaching@unlearnwithlouisa.com if you want to make 2026 your best year yet. Enjoy the episode. Okay, so let's say you've got these 3 filters. You've got your priorities, you've got your goal. Let's say your goal is to have really safe and secure relationships in 2026. Maybe you're dating, maybe you've got a new partner, maybe, I don't know, whatever. Once you've written that goal, I want you to think about, what am I going to feel once I've achieved this goal? I want you to start to encompass that feeling every morning. So let's say you have safe and secure relationships. So you're feeling content, because what does security give us in relationships? It gives us peace, basically. It means our nervous system is calm. It means we're relaxed. It means we're not obsessively thinking in our heads about the other person. It means that we're suddenly okay in the world. So what you're going to do is you're going to feel that feeling. I want you to encompass that feeling in your morning routines day to day. Let's say you've got a financial goal to reach a certain financial milestone. What feeling are you going to feel once you've received that amount of money? And I want you to focus on feeling that now, because the reality is we manifest our goals once we are an energetic match to that goal. Obviously, we're going to feel good when the goal comes in, but a lot of the time, you'll probably know this from your own experience, once you achieve that goal, it just feels like the next right thing. It just feels like normality by then. So you want to get your nervous system in a state where you're used to feeling that feeling associated with that goal, because the goal will come in once your nervous system and your body and your energy is aligned with that goal. Now, I know a lot of what I said may seem quite simple in order to create your best year yet. It might be simple to hear, but in practice, these are the things that will really transform your life. The problem is when we are ignorant and we are not intentional about the life that we're creating, we are going to repeat the past. We're going to just keep hitting these glass ceilings of what we're used to hitting. Our nervous system and our conditioning is wired in a certain way, and we are just going to be in that default setting, like that default system of behaving. And in order to create change in our life, we need to be intentional and conscious whilst we make that change. This is why it's so important to really capitalize on your motivation with the new year. So obviously, lots of people, like I said earlier, we have these New Year's resolutions, and then halfway through the year, or like halfway through the first quarter even, the goal is just forgotten about. We go back to that default setting, that old system of being, right? If you really, really want to cultivate change, you need to cultivate change from an identity level. So instead of saying, for example, with like smoking, instead of going, I don't want a cigarette, when someone offers you a cigarette, you want to make change from an identity level. With this, it would be like saying, I'm not a smoker. Like when someone offers you a cigarette, it's like, I'm not a smoker. Like that's an identity level. That's identity level. Like I'm not a smoker, not I don't want a cigarette. So what is an identity shift you can make? Going back to this example with the relationships and prioritizing your relationships. If you are somebody that has previously been super career driven and you're not home much, and then you this year want to start reprioritizing your family and reprioritizing your relationship and your children, your identity needs to become, I'm a family woman. I am a family person. My family is my first priority. And so what would somebody who's a family woman or a family man do? What do they think about? What do they do on their weekends? What do they plan? And so somebody that's let's say a family woman or like really family focused, it might be that they're thinking about booking a weekend away with their family. They're thinking about the next holiday together. In their spare time, they're planning some fun surprises or some fun activities to do as a group. It's really hard. I don't know why I've gone on with this example because I don't have children. Oh my God, I went to Chadstone today, everybody, to do my Christmas shopping. What date is it that I'm recording? I think today's the 2 days before Christmas. It's the 23rd. And I went to Chadstone today and I have 5 nieces and nephews. And then obviously Tara has her baba. And so I have 6 kids to buy for every Christmas now. And I literally had to have a trolley to walk around Chadstone, the amount of fucking kids gifts I had to buy. Anyway, I have another brother and I said to him today, I said, you can't have kids. I've got too many kids to buy for. I'm so sorry. Anyway, So that's probably where this example has come from, because I'm like, what am I talking about? I don't have children. But for people that are listening, I know that we actually have a lot of mums that listen to this podcast from when Tara was pregnant. So hello, my beautiful mums. You guys are fucking amazing. I'm sorry. Like, I just need to have a minute. I don't know how you do it. Like, I genuinely do not know how you do it. I was on a full auntie duty the other weekend, and I had my 2 twin nieces and my 4-year-old nephew in my care, and I needed a whole 24 hours to recover. I had help as well. Like, my brother was there and my sister-in-law was there at different times. So I don't know. Honestly. And single mums and dads, sorry. I always talk to women specifically because 90% of my audience is women, and I work with mainly women. So if you are a male and you're listening to this and you're feeling left out, I apologize, but that is why. But I want you to feel you are included in this space. Absolutely. Whatever you can get out of the podcast, get out of the podcast. But on that, where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So basically, you need to think about your identity. What does somebody who is a family first person, what do they think about in their spare time? What music do they listen to? What do they say? What do they think about? What do they embody? I want you to really encompass things on an identity level. If you are somebody that is trying to focus on their business, for example, what are you doing day to day? The best way to see if you're matching up to your goal is think about if somebody was to film your week, what would they reflect back to you as your number one priority by what you behave and what you think about and what you say? Because often we can say we want to get fit, or we can intend to want to be a family first, or intend to be growing our business, but what do our main actions during the week actually look like? Do they tell a different story? And that story is the limitation to why you're not achieving your goals, okay? That, and also not getting into the feeling and the energy behind the feelings associated with that goal. That is today's episode. Congratulations. Welcome to 2026. May this year be your best year yet. And if you would like to deep dive further into making sure you achieve these goals, if this was a great starting point to really building on this year, I have a New Year's coaching program, which is 4 sessions with me. It's very well priced. It's my cheapest program that I offer just for the first quarter of the year. The only heavy lifting you have to do is basically do the actions that we set out in the program. If you want to make 2026 your best year yet, you're not sure what you want, or you've got a few goals in mind, or you've got an idea of what you want, but you need some help, you want some support or some accountability, sign up to that program. Just book an introductory call through the link tree and we can get you started. If you are interested in achieving your goals and making 2026 your best year yet, that is definitely the easiest way to do it. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for getting to the end of the episode, and congratulations for choosing to create a future that's actually yours. If you got something out of this episode, please share it with someone who needs to hear it, and keep up to date with me by following wherever you listen to this episode. If you haven't already, I'd love it if you could also leave a review. If you want more from me, you can find me on any platform at Unlearn with Louisa, or head over to my website unlearnwithlouisa.com to work with me as a coach. And I will see you at the next episode.